The human brain has a fascinating programming flaw called neoteny. We have been biologically programmed by evolution to feel affection and let our guard down when we see creatures with large eyes, rounded heads, and clumsy movements. It is a survival mechanism, so we take care of our own babies. But nature, in its absolute coldness, frequently hijacks this emotional trigger. What your brain interprets as cute and harmless is often a masterpiece of evolutionary biology designed to kill, cause extreme pain, or manipulate.
In today's video, we are going to scientifically analyze 4 cute creatures that deceive your visual perception. Forget the obvious predators. We will dive deep into the chemistry and neurobiology behind creatures that look harmless, but hide arsenals worthy of biological weapons.
Our first case study is the slow loris. Visually, it is the definition of neoteny, but biologically, it is an extreme anomaly. It is the only known venomous primate on the planet. When you see viral videos of this animal raising its arms while being tickled, you are not witnessing amusement. You are watching an animal activating its chemical defense mechanism. Research conducted by primatologist Anna Nakaris from Oxford Brookes University revealed the complexity of this system. On the inside of its elbows, the loris has a brachial gland that secretes a volatile oil. On its own, this oil is inert. But pay attention. When the loris licks its elbow, and it looks like the cutest thing in the world, that is where the chemistry happens. Enzymes present in its saliva react with the oil, synthesizing a toxin whose protein structure is terrifyingly similar to fel-D1, the exact same protein that causes cat allergies in humans. But in the loris, this protein comes in a highly potentiated version. The result of this alchemy is a necrotic venom. A bite doesn't just painfully rot the cellular tissue around the wound. In humans, this protein payload can cause immediate anaphylactic shock. The airways close and blood pressure plummets. It can often lead to death. The teddy bear is literally a walking chemical weapon.
The second specimen defies taxonomy itself. The platypus is a monotreme, meaning it is an egg-laying mammal. With its duck bill and beaver tail, it looks like an evolutionary joke. However, evolution doesn't make jokes. It creates survival tools. And in the case of the males of this species, the tool is neurological terror. The male platypus possesses keratin spurs on its hind legs, connected to crural glands. The production of this venom peaks during the mating season. According to molecular biologists at the University of Sydney, the platypus's toxic cocktail is composed of defensin-like proteins, DLPs, something very rare in mammals.
What shocks the scientific community is the mechanism of action of this venom. It is not meant to kill, but to incapacitate through a condition called severe hyperalgesia. The venom directly attacks the peripheral pain receptors of the victim's nervous system, causing an absolute sensory overload. Doctors report that blocking the pain is so complex that centrally acting analgesics, like pure morphine, are functionally useless. The excruciating pain can last for months, making this one of the most efficient pain-focused venoms ever cataloged. The platypus is definitely off our list of cute animals.
To understand how far nature goes in the art of visual deception, we need to look at the tide pools of the Pacific Ocean. There dwells a tiny creature that weighs less than 30 grams and fits perfectly in the palm of your hand, the blue-ringed octopus. When threatened, its body displays iridescent rings that flash like neon lights. It is mesmerizing, beautiful, and directly hits our childish fascination. But this display of colors is not an invitation for interaction. It is a maximum-level biological hazard warning. Marine biology has discovered that this small cephalopod does not produce its own venom. It acts as a host, maintaining a macabre symbiotic relationship with colonies of marine bacteria, such as those of the genus Vibrio, housed in its salivary glands. It is these bacteria that synthesize tetrodotoxin, TTX. A single bite from the blue-ringed octopus is often painless, which makes it even more lethal, as the victim may not realize they have been inoculated. The chemical cocktail contains enough TTX to completely paralyze 26 adult humans in a matter of minutes. The neurotoxin blocks sodium channels, instantly interrupting nerve signals to the muscles. The most disturbing detail reported by emergency room doctors is that the victim remains completely conscious and lucid while losing the ability to move, swallow, and finally to breathe, being trapped inside their own body until asphyxiation. To this day, there is no known antidote. It is the perfect synthesis of how aesthetic beauty hides an absolute neurological kill switch. And since we've touched on the lethality of tetrodotoxin, we need to talk about the cost of hyperintelligence. Specifically, regarding the cheerful, playful dolphins you see in videos, on TV, and in hundreds of water parks across the globe. Dolphins possess one of the highest encephalization quotients on the planet, second only to humans. Yet such complex brains and highly developed neocortices bring with them advanced and dark social behaviors. In science, we know that apex predators with high cognition frequently exhibit intraspecific aggression for reasons unrelated to hunger. Dolphins form coalitions focused on systemic violence, isolating and attacking other marine species purely for amusement or frustration. But the most fascinating and bizarre aspect of their behavior was documented by zoologist Rob Pilley during filming for the BBC. They have learned to use marine pharmacology to their advantage. Remember the tetrodotoxin, TTX, from the octopus we just saw? Dolphins capture pufferfish, which also secrete this exact same devastating neurotoxin. However, the dolphins figured out the precise dosage. They chew the pufferfish with extreme delicacy, forcing the release of a microdose of TTX. They then pass the fish around the group. This microdose doesn't kill them, but induces a severe narcotic state, leaving them in a sensory trance. They are using a lethal biological weapon for purely recreational purposes. Nature is not cruel, but it is far from a cartoon governed by cuteness. It is a relentless system of adaptation, chemistry, and survival. That docile gaze might just be a disguise, and the most smiling animal in the ocean might exhibit behaviors that human psychology would classify as sociopathy. Which of these adaptation mechanisms did you find most impressive from a scientific point of view? The primate venom, the platypus's hyperalgesia, the host of deadly bacteria, or the use of neurotoxins by dolphins?